I thought it would be a good idea to take the time out and show you guys all the materials that I personally use to make all of my illustrations and my sketches. And these materials are ones that are my personal favourites and that I love to use when I'm making my art. So let's get started. So first up is my watercolour paper. At the moment I'm currently using the CasArt brand, and I'm using the thickness of 300 GSM, which is a nice thick watercolour paper. I personally love using watercolour paper that's really thick because it takes the water a lot better, and sometimes I don't even have to stretch the paper, which I find a lot quicker sometimes. And also, if I do have to stretch it, it means that it will hold its shape a lot better. Also, the texture of these thicker papers, especially this one, is really beautiful and it scans really well into my computer. When I was really getting into travelling around with a notebook that wasn't just a normal sketchbook where I do lots of rough sketches, but when I wanted to actually do proper kind of finished sketches and illustrations while I was out, I wanted to find a sketchbook that had thick paper so that I could do some watercolours in it, and also was able to be small enough so I could take it with me everywhere. And I found this handbook journal, and I bought this in London Graphics Centre, and I love this book. It's so good. I love the thickness of the paper, as I'm able to use the watercolours with it, but also it's a really good quality, so I'm able to do some really nice illustration work in it. So this is my Winsor & Newton watercolour palette. And this is the palette that I use for every single one of my watercolour illustrations. I love all of the colours in it. So far I haven't found anything that I really don't like about it. I love the way that the colours all come out, and I would highly recommend getting this one. It's really great to use. So these are the sketchbooks that I go to when I want to do any rough sketches, any rough doodles, basically anything that will go towards idea generating. So nothing final, and because of this I really like the W.H. Smith A5 pads because they're small enough, the quality is quite good, and actually the paper is thick enough so that if I want to I can use some watercolours if I want to play with any colour ideas for a piece. So this is my old mechanical pencil. I actually can't remember where I got it, so I'm really sorry about that, but I use it all the time, but I do know that I bought an easy grip to put onto it, and that just makes it easier for you to hold on to the pencil and giving your hand less strain when you're working. But I do use the Faber-&-Castell 0.5 B lead with it, but recently I did get myself a new mechanical pencil just to try it out. So I got the Pentel mechanical pencil, and this one holds a 0.3mm lead in it. And I really like this one as well because just like my other mechanical pencil, it's great for sketching, and also this one in particular is very good at even smaller details. Not to forget my jar. This is my trusty jar that I use for my watercolours, so I put my water in here for when I'm mixing and cleaning my brushes, and it's a nice small size. I don't know where it came from. I think it was a recycled jar that my family had and then I was given it, so the size of it also enables me to actually bring it with me because it's quite small to other places if I happen to want to do any watercolours anywhere else. So recently I've been trying out the Staedtler pigment liners, and I'm actually really liking them. I bought them in a pack, so they come with a ton of different thicknesses. I normally use Sakura Micron pens, but these are actually really great, and I've been using them for when I've been out and sketching. And I really love the really thick one that's almost like a slanted brush tip, and that gives a really nice coverage if I want to completely colour in a whole space. Like I just mentioned, my favourite pens to use when I'm doing my art are the Sakura Pigma Micron pens, and I normally use the 005 thickness because it's the smallest one and I can get really up and close and get lots of detail in on my pictures. And the pen I'm using the most when I'm outlining my drawing with a different line weight, I've been using the Unipin Fine Line in 0.5. I've been using this Aquatine watercolour brush for watercolour washes on my work. But the other watercolour brushes that I own, I actually can't remember what brand it is. I have a feeling that I bought the pack in Hobbycraft. But so far, these watercolour brushes have served me really well. I've used them for every one of my watercolours, and they're a great quality, and they all have varying thicknesses. The brush that I do know where I got it from is my Winsor & Newton 00 brush, and this brush is tiny, it is minuscule, and I wanted to get one because the brushes I have, even though they were quite small on some of them, they weren't small enough, and I really needed to get into those details of my illustrations, so this one was perfect. So for the illustrations that I need to add some white details to, I tend to use some white gel pens, and the ones that I have been using are the Sakura Jelly Roll and the Kikki K gel pen. They both pretty much do the same thing, and I've been using the Sakura Jelly Roll the most, especially with brown paper. I love colouring in the highlights with the Sakura Jelly Roll on this notebook that I've got. My friend actually got me this notebook quite a while ago now, but I love using this because of the mid-tone paper. It's fantastic. I love going from medium tone to light tone with the jelly rolls, and I think it just creates a really lovely effect, and I love sketching in this book. And last but not least, I don't have a particular rubber that I actually use for erasing my pencil marks. I pretty much use any I can find. And that's it! Those are all my art materials that I use to create my watercolour illustrations and my sketches. Let me know in the comments below if there are any of these materials that you use yourself, or if there are any that you would recommend to me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!